So there are plenty of videos that are floating around, and a lot of the videos are very negative when it comes to black females. And you'll see some positive videos, but you seem to surf through on the internet and you'll find a lot of negative videos, and they're stereotypical, they demonize, they put down, they degrade, they don't show females that are of a color in a good, positive way. And a lot of times that can lead to self esteem issues in some people when they see videos or they see pictorials or commentary that demonizes and degrades their culture of people or who they are as a person. It belittles their character and defames who they are. It says a lot about those individuals, and it's hurtful and it's spiteful. And so you have to wonder where a lot of this is coming from. And a lot of times, the individuals that will post or they'll comment or they'll say really mean, harsh words, a lot of times they're not honest about where it is coming from. And clearly, there's a lot of hate. There's a lot of hatred and self hate that is floating around in the black community. So you'll have even people who they are black themselves, but it's almost like on the inside of their heart they have these little KKK men running around, and they spew a lot of hate towards the black community, and they'll spew a lot of hate towards females. Sometimes it'll be gender issues, and what they don't tell you is that everybody is different. We could be from the same, maybe phenotypically we look like we're African descent, but we could come from different cities. We might have different cultures, different backgrounds, different upbringings. Everybody's upbringing, everybody's language, everybody's ideals are not the same. But you'll have a certain group of males that think all females are the same and all females do the same things or should do the same things. So there's this warped sense of view of women. And a lot of times it's negative, it's misogynistic, it's sexist, and it can be racist, it can be a rape culture. And you gotta wonder where these type of individuals come from themselves. What have they been exposed to? What are their family lives like? Or what were their family lives like? What was their upbringing? And what environment have they been exposed to? Who are their role models? Who do they look up to? Whom they value as, important in their lives? And so some of these, there's a few, maybe more than a few, but there's a group where they've come from the wrong side of the tracks. And there are people that make choices in life, and some people will remain on the wrong side of the track, and they'll make the decision that they want to continue involving themselves in spiraling criminal history. And so it grows and grows and grows and grows because there may be other issues going on. Some people have mental abuse, um, emotional, physical. They've been abused, they've been sexually molested, or they've probably seen a lot of violence in the home. They've seen their parents fight. Maybe they've learned how to treat women through uncles and like maybe pimps, hustlers, players, criminal elders, and they mimic those behaviors because they don't know any better, because they've been taught that way. They think this is normal and this is the way you treat women or people in general. So they grow up with those warped beliefs, and they don't know how to treat women. They don't know how to hold down a decent job. They listen and feed into these lies that, oh, you're not going to make that much money working a square job. You need to go out there and hustle for yours. There's other ways of hustling without getting in trouble with the law and holding down a legal job and being able to secure yourself and a family. But you have some people who don't want to do that. They don't have any positive intentions. What their role models are is Scarface, people that are street people, fictional characters they see on movies and TV, maybe in music videos that show a lot of violence and pimps and killing and hustlers and gangbangers. And when they see guys that, they want a better life and they want to do something for themselves and their families, they have some morals, they make fun of them, they demonize them as well and put them down. But they look up to gangbangers and thugs and criminals and hustlers and players and things like that. Now, there are exceptions. There are some people who may have made bad decisions in life and they've done a turnaround. They've done a complete 360-degree turnaround where they decide, at first I was doing this, but this is not really the way to go, and I'm going to go on a different path in life, and I'm going to be there for my kids. So you see, there was a famous singer from the 90s, Michelet, and she did a biopic piece about her life and how she was involved with Dr. Dre and Suge Knight and what her struggles were being a black woman and trying to be successful and raise children. And that was a really good biopic piece, by the way. And she was honest enough to talk about her substance abuse and how she was depressed and how she felt about her life and the struggles that came along with it. And what she saw in her home life made an impact as to whom she chose as a mate as well. So, and not only that, what she thought was normal in relationships, which was the violence. And she had put up with it for so long till finally she said enough of this and she no longer wanted that. So you have little black boys who are impressionable. They need, what people say, two parents, or they need, a lot of love and support. And you've heard sayings like it takes a village, and that's true. You need a lot of family support. And maybe if something happened to the father or the mother, take your kids on family trips, spend time with them, help them with their homework, be there for them, do everything you can to be a safety net for your kids and for your family, and have good morals and values that you set. And that is how you are a good parent, a father, a dad, a mom, a role model for your kids. But if you're on drugs, if you're fighting all the time, if you're talking about gang banging and criminal life, those are not good depictions for your kids to be surrounded by. And a lot of times people think, oh, okay, I saw that when I was growing up and I came out just fine. No, you didn't. Because if you did, you wouldn't be on here talking bad about, black people and black women and how people destroyed the community, when it's really the person that is out there gang banging and involved in this woman haters crew. And so you have these guys that are out there, they have issues. It could be mental issues. It could be maybe they're, on drugs. Maybe they had a bad relationship. Some things happened to them in their life. Maybe they were abused. They were sexually abused. Maybe they were tortured. So they vent and they spew all that anger on women. And some have even killed women and threatened women and beat up women and attacked women because maybe they never really valued women as being human. So they don't have a lot of high expectations. They don't even put them in line with even being human. So they treat them just the way they feel, or maybe the way they feel on the inside, how they've been treated. So this, I believe, family, being able to share family values and family time, growing up in a structured environment, is what's lacking in a lot of these situations. And it's not necessarily who's there. It's not who's there. Even if the father and the mother aren't together, You still can develop parental relationships with your kids. You still can be a parent. But you have guys that will abandon the kids. And so he grows up to see that, and what does he value? Pimps, players, max, hustlers, people who don't have a lot of positive aspirations, or to them maybe they think it's positive to do street level crime and what they say come up on something and capitalize off of you know women who are vulnerable and who don't know any better, and they're naive, or they've been strung out on drugs. They get them strung out on drugs and they put them out on the street to prostitute and treat them like pieces of meat, and then they compare women of other cultures to black women and create more gender divide and gender wars. They're fighting, they're bickering, debating back and forth online, sending negative comments, and then they even demonize men who want to stay there and be a father and a parent to their kids. Even if you're not in the relationship with the mother and you have differences, you're still parents at the end of the day. So you can still be there for your kids. Everybody's human and no one is perfect. People have made bad decisions in life, but it's what you do with the rest of your life that counts. And if you continue to make those same bad decisions, that says a lot about, what do you really want out of life? Do you want to keep making these bad decisions, or do you want to do better with yourself and for yourself or for your kids? So, other women complain about problems. Other women have problems from other cultures, drug problems, prostitution, and other women also. If they have a low self-esteem, it's not just in the black culture, it's not in one culture. Women, just that word, women. Some people don't value women. They don't even treat them with respect. They get them on drugs, have them doing sexual acts that are really not showing a level of care or empathy for the woman, just treating her like dirt, treating her like a prostitute, treating her rough, being violent, making her cry, making her feel sad, making her feel low, and every little word that is negative that you say about that woman, you're slowly, piece by piece, chipping away at her soul, so that she has nothing left to go on, to the point to where she is totally at rock bottom in character of how she feels about herself. She feels the lowest of low. And when a woman feels the lowest of low, she has no hope, no one to turn to. And a lot of these guys, they'll get with women like that and they'll break them down, and then they become abusive. When you finally get to a place where you've had enough, and you can't take any more abuse, then he becomes violent. And if you talk about leaving, if you talk about going to school, if you talk about bettering yourself, if you talk about, I don't want this violence, please stop cheating on me, I'm sick with something, who have you been sleeping with, why are you hurting me and hurting the kids, he's ready to pounce on you and bust your head open. And this is the kind of mentality that is online. That is the reason why you have some women that remain single. That is the reason why they don't get involved with these individuals, because they're too violent, they're too dirty in the minds, they don't respect women, and they're a revolving door in and out of jail and prison. And you don't know what they're doing behind those bars with other men, and then they get out and give you a disease, something fatal that you can't get rid of, or that could be fatal or life and death situation. And your kids need, people say they need two parents, they need at least a parent around. So if the father is going to abandon the kids and then he comes home and she's just suffering, and she gets a fatal disease, now that kid has no parents. So he has to go to uncle, auntie, and grandma and grandpa to raise them because of all of the craziness and chaos within the mother and father situation. So there are some circumstances where you have men that do get their act together. They do go to school. They get their GED, or they get their high school diploma and they go on to college and they do something with their life and they do something positive, and they're more optimistic about life because they see life in a different view. They're not about gang banging, and maybe they were in an environment where they saw a lot of that. But they decided to go a different path. They made a choice and they said, you know what? I don't want to be like that. I saw my friend get shot. I saw this person go to jail and he came out and look what happened, or he didn't come out. He's dead. And, everybody has different experiences. And so you do have some people that want a better life. They want to be able to support themselves and a family, and they don't want to degrade and demean women. But a lot of these men that are positive, that are doing the right things, they get demonized just for being what they call positive and having moral values and being a parent and trying to raise their kids. They get demonized for that. And I think it's wrong. It's wrong. I feel like guys who have come from relationships that are difficult, but they still stay in there and try to be a parent, I commend them for that, because they didn't abandon their kids at least. There are some women who have low self-esteem and they've come from bad backgrounds and they're not good. And I admit that because there are some people that are out there that are like that, and they support some of these clowns that are online saying all this hateful stuff about black people in general, and just bringing more social divide and hate in the black community. And it's terrible. This is not good role modeling for kids, for up and coming future. This is not helpful. And I don't care what anybody says. You can post all the stuff that you want to post, but you're not doing anything but showing your true colors of who you really are on the inside. It's hateful.